I think this is a really interesting conversation topic. It's something that probably comes up pretty frequently when we have clients or athletes looking to switch over to individual design. It's what are those first conversations centered around for someone who's going through a competition burnout? I think that's definitely something that, touches close to home, having, been through a couple different variations of it myself, ones where I was mentally excited, but physically my body was a little wrecked. Then being on the other side where there might be a little more physical in the tank, but mentally I was burnt out just from a few other things going on in life. So for me, when I have these conversations, I look at it from a very practical to, I guess, like an emotional standpoint. So from a practical standpoint, the first thing I want to do is really get a sense of the athlete, what's still going well for you, what's not. Athletes are very intuitive, and I think a lot of times they have something to offer when they can tell me like, hey, this style of workout, this movement, used to be a strength of mine and now it's not. And so we can look at that for signs of monitoring, and for me to get objective information going forward, if someone historically was a great rower or very strong and those things just aren't sharp, it gives me something to monitor in our time together for their own kind of like personal essence. And then second, taking it from an emotional standpoint, I want to figure out, why do you want to compete again anyways? If you're so burnt out, what's drawing you back? And again, that kind of helps them self-identify and say like, hey, when I was doing well, this is what was going on in my life. This is how I was supporting it. This is what I positively took from it. And we have to point those things out and say, hey, if that's what was going on then, what's the disconnect now? What can we work on? So the biggest thing from these conversations is to look for clues from the past and things that we can work on and make it a very constructive and collaborative project of like, what can I do programming and guidance wise, and what can they do day to day and lifestyle wise to help kind of right the ship going forward. So a little bit of insight into what I really want to accomplish talking to these people coming into the ship.
Oof.